I've always said car maintenance is sort of an educational journey. You get to learn about the vehicle, and you kind of get to learn about yourself. Today is a learn about myself day. So I had almost everything assembled. I'll show you. Almost everything fully assembled. All this is done. Timing chain is done. I had that back on. And I was looking through my book, and I realized that I had potentially made a huge mistake with my head bolts. So the manual states that I should do 23 pound-feet of torque, foot-pounds of torque, followed by 60 degrees of torque angle, followed by another 60 or so degrees of torque angle. And then one line down, it's like, oh, by the way, this very specific engine that you have actually requires 90 degrees of torque angle plus another 90 degrees of torque angle. Put together, I am 60 degrees of torque angle off. So I spent the night panicking. Talked to a mechanic friend of mine, and he said the best thing I can do is to go back in and apply 60 degrees of torque angle. So here's what's on the list for today. I was actually supposed to put that engine into that car today. I don't get to do that. Okay, so here's what I'm going to get to do today. Take off my timing chain, take off my, I got to take off the fuel pump, I got to take off the bearing caps, and then I got to take off the cam guide, the cam carriers, and then I get to go in and hit every one of those 10 tiny bolts that are in the engine, and then I can put it all back together again. My sincere hope was to be putting the engine back together far enough where I can put it back in the car, but life is as life is. I mean, I'm lucky I didn't tighten anything. I just have to give it 55 more degrees of torque angle, and I can start the reassembly. Unfortunately, the reassembly is a pain in the ass because I have to scrape off a bunch of RTV, clean the whole surface, put a bunch of RTV back on, and then I have to very slowly put the cam bearing caps back on, very slowly reattach the timing chain. So all of that is off now, and I've got to finish this job and then essentially put it all back together again. All right, now the fun part. Carrier's back on. Now I'm going to have to set this to top dead center. And I happen to know that top dead center is on this right here. So I'm going to have to find a way to twist it. Anyway, I'm going to put this at top dead center, and then the book says to go 3 teeth past top dead center. So 1, 2, 3. This needs to be pointing straight up. This tooth, hang on. 1, 2, 3. Yep, this tooth needs to be pointing straight up for 3 degrees or so past top dead center. After that, I'll put the cams on, after that I'll put the cams on, run the chain, put the 10 centers on so I can lock the chain in place, put the caps on, or something in that order. Either way, I want to lock the camshafts down, but not put too much pressure on them while I'm putting the bolts on. That's my next step. All right, bring you over here. That's lined up. That's lined up. That's lined up. That is 1, 2, 3 teeth past top dead center. And I have tension on the chain all the way here and down on here. I have slack here, but not until I pull this. Once I pull this, now I have no slack. These are locked in place. And so all I have to do then is tighten down the carrier bolts. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten down these guys. Well, I was putting the timing chain, I was cleaning the timing chain off, timing chain cover, and I discovered a problem. In the middle of researching it, but it looks like something took a big chunk out of my oil pump. That's the other side for reference. Something was seriously cutting into it. So I'm going to take the oil pump off and see what I can find. If it's one thing, it's always something else, right? And just like that, it gets way more complicated. So I've got it off. Let me show you. They're covered up because I got to be done for a while. The main oiler gear looks to be in good shape. The pump gear, if I can pick it up, also appears to be in pretty good shape. Here's the oil pump. It looks to be in good shape. It's got some crud on it that I also had it laying down. Fun part is that one of the screws decided it really didn't want to come out, so I had to drill it out, so I might have to get a new body, which would be fun. But in the meantime, I've got to be able to get this guy out of the housing itself. That's going to be super duper fun. Because I thought I had some tappets. I don't. So, it's like I gotta go get some tappets and see about a fuel pump. Yay!